Over the last 12 months, I've been able to help nearly 30 companies implement AI into their business. I was able to transition from a full-time corporate job into full-time entrepreneurship with AI and automations. And these are the 4 workflows that pay my bills. So with that, let's just jump right into it. It's been a little while since my last post, and it's just because I've been busier on the business side of things, which is of course a good problem to have. But I thought a great way for me to get back into the swing of things and build momentum for posts is to just talk about what it is I've been doing, right? Like what sells. That's a question I get often in my communities as well, is people are kind of overwhelmed as to where to start. There's so many things you could do. It's sort of hard to focus sometimes. So how I like to think of it is you want to stick as close to the revenue for the client as possible. And that universally is more customers. Okay. So lead generation is the most interest you're ever going to get with AI and automation. And as such, I recommend that's where you start, whether it be through automating socials or cold outreach. Those are the first workflows we're going to talk about. Okay. So for that, I use a platform called Appify. And it's just basically folks all over the internet build their own web scrapers and then they upload them to Appify so that you can use for some credits, right? So you can scrape LinkedIn, you can scrape Google Maps, you can scrape Instagram, you can scrape all sorts of stuff. So the first workflow is definitely an Appify scraper. And there's all sorts of flavors as to how you can present this. This one in particular is from a drop-down menu on your ClickUp, for example. It's easy enough just to get in and use the Appify actor, is what they call the individual scrapers, on the website itself. But having a Appify scraper as one of your workflows is one of those high leverage, high dollar value places to start. Okay. You can also build out scrapers for LinkedIn, just getting information from different LinkedIn profiles that are available to the public. Another one I really like is scraping Google Maps. Say this is super practical if you build out something for a specific group of people. Let's say you build out an automated receptionist for medical clinics, right? You can search like medical clinics across the globe and use Google Maps to do it. Or another one is tutors, anything specific like that. Google Maps scraper is the best. Another very high leverage workflow. So I would recommend starting with those, okay? Especially for cold outbound and those sort of B2B applications, best. Super good to have. Start there. So this is a very important first step, but as you can imagine, if you're reaching out to somebody cold, you want to know a little bit about them to kind of break the ice, right? Differentiate you from all the other spam emails. So you're not just like another flyer in their car windshield, okay? So I had a workflow that I built out a long time ago when I first got into this sort of space, and it's been working great ever since, so I haven't changed it. So step 1 is to scrape leads and put them all into a Google Sheets, which you can do with Appify. Step 2 is to research each person and then develop that icebreaker that we were talking about a second ago, right? Like the cold opener that makes them interested in what you have to say next. So I do that through 3 layers of research. The first being Quen, just to research any news articles about this person or public information about their company. And then, Perplexity search just for a second layer of that same thing. Scrape the website for their mission statement, their goals, all that sort of thing. And then it goes through a couple layers of agent reasoning where you draft the subject line, all that sort of thing. And it eventually gets to pushing out the cold icebreaker that we were talking about before, uploads that to the Google Sheets so that you have everything in line. You've got their information, a little bit about them, the company website, all that sort of thing. And you can push this through to your email campaign platform of choice, whether it's Smartly or Instantly or whatever. Okay. So the second extremely valuable high leverage workflow would be something to do with personalization and generating cold icebreakers for cold outreach, right? This is another thing that is incredibly important that I would definitely spend some time on. There's a lot of templates online. Actually, you can get this one that I use from my community if you're interested in just getting a jump on it. So with that, that's your foundation for B2B cold outreach. This works fantastic for that, right? All you have to do from here is ramp up the volume and plug it into Instantly, essentially, right? But let's say you're selling B2C. If you're going to the customer, you're not going to be able to cold email a bunch of customers. That's ridiculous. You need to kind of bring them to you, which is where social media automation comes in. So the workflow I've got lined up is actually 5 steps. Step 1 being research trending topics. And we do that here with a Tavily agent, very specific localized prompts. And then we do the same sort of thing that we did with Appify. We just upload all of those into a Google Sheet. And the output of that looks something like this, where you get the title, insights, captions for under LinkedIn posts, script if you're going to turn this into a video, SEO optimized hashtags, and then from here we move on with image prompts and where all the data is stored, all that stuff. Okay, so this is our single source of truth for our social media campaigns. From this Google Sheet, we create an image to correspond with that post, right? And that can later be moved into like VO3 to animate that image for, TikTok or Shorts or whatever, but that's a different thing. We're going to talk about one thing at a time. So anyway, we go and we generate an image for that blog post and push that back into the Google Sheet so we know where it is, where it lines up in the scheme of things, and it's all associated with the same idea. We've got the picture, the caption, the hashtags, everything's all dimed. We send that to the user. So I get a notification every day about the relevant posts, and I can approve, deny, or suggest edits to that post. So when it's approved, it gets scheduled to be posted to relevant platforms. When it's denied, it's just archived and we don't go any further. And then we can also edit it until it's meeting our standards, right? The entire post is created, it's approved, we've tweaked it, it's meeting our approval, it's all logged on the Google Sheet. The only next step is to actually post, right? Either schedule the post or post it. And I know this seems like a super long workflow, but you can definitely see the value here. Automating socials, everyone knows they should be more active on socials. It's just really hard to do, right? So this is fantastic. It takes the approved post and only the approved post in the manner that we have decided that it's best. And then it goes and it posts it to 9 different social media platforms just from the trigger you get on your phone. Is this good? Is this not? And it just automatically takes it, repurposes it all over the place. Fantastic. So I'm guaranteeing you can see the value here. This is an incredibly valuable workflow and something you should definitely invest some time in. So that is lead generation, both cold outreach and social media inbound. The next one that I am only now, like more recently, starting to present as like a production offer for folks is my executive assistant. If you've been watching the channel at all, you've seen me kind of work with this a little bit, and it's going to be the core of every other offer. Okay, so I'm going to have this with the scraping agent on the social media and, you know, the personalization and cold outbound and everything, right? The thought being that you don't have to log into a bunch of different platforms. You can just use your Telegram agent or your phone and do the entire works from voice notes. Okay, so I don't have to sell the value there. It's what everybody thought AI should be doing for them in the first place. Okay, so this looks intimidating until you break it down a little bit, right? Like, so if you've seen my how to build an AI agent video, it's just a bunch of those pieces. It's a bunch of small AI workflows strung together to do really comprehensive tasks. Okay, so the workflow, I'll break it down for you, is you got a Telegram trigger here. So this is you speaking to this agent. It decides if it's a note, like a voice note or a text, and it responds accordingly with either a voice note response or a text response. This guy here, the agent brain, doesn't actually do any of the actions. What this guy does is it takes your input, your request, and figures out the best way to do it, and then routes that to the appropriate agent. Okay, say you wanted to research housing market in Calgary, Alberta, hypothetically speaking. You're going to go and it's going to route that to the Tavily agent, which is going to search the housing market or whatever request that it is that you put in, right? Let's say you want to book a meeting with clients or whatever, or, you know, you're on the phone and you say, hey, can we bam fam, right? Book a meeting from a meeting. You can go, hey, how about Wednesday at 10 a.m.? And they'll say yes. And you'll be like, can you book a meeting with on Wednesday, 10 a.m.? It'll route it over here to the calendar agent. And then they're blown away that you were able to do that on the call. It's really impressive. Same thing with your CRM. I use Notion like a caveman, but like, let's say you had Go High Level, which is a super good idea with all of the MCP functionalities now, tangent. But what you would do is you just talk into your phone. It would update your CRM like this. But these agents on their own, here, let's open one up, aren't actually all that crazy. Like, this is an agent we built out on the channel ourselves, right? Input, brain, tools, that's it. Very simple. But you got a few of those in tandem, right? When they're like lined up working together on the same thing, it can be a really impressive workflow. Okay. So anyway, that's what I've been working on. Those are the workflows that I find have been selling, at least for me. If you have any sort of issues with that sort of thing, remember, stick close to the revenue, right? Whatever makes a client money is something that they're going to be interested in speaking to you about, right? So if you'd like to learn more about this, I've got more on the channel. I'll link to the AI agent video here in a sec, or you can go and get some of these templates from my school community listed down there in the description. Thank you for sticking with me. Please like and subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.